Welcome back. Um, where did we leave off? Oh yes, Dragon Ball Volume 5. In here we do pick up from the World Tournament Saga, and the middle of the fight with Jackie-chan, aka Matsuroshi, but shush, don't tell anyone. Excuse me, I burped. What I can say from this fight, it's quite kinetic, it's really fun to watch, and it's goofy at times, has a very lightheartedness with an undertone of seriousness at some points where Master Roshi finds that Goku's getting too cocky for his own good. So that's why he has to slap down his students, because if he doesn't, they might become too cocky and don't take training as seriously as they could be, and he's doing this for their own good. For that, I really commend Master Roshi for going that lengths and perils that most teachers nowadays don't do. Maybe because they're getting not as paid as much. Or is that Taco Bell managers get paid more than pilots? Anyway, moving on from that, I really do like this volume. It's quite interesting. It's action-packed. It's funny. As most any other Dragon Ball book. I find myself laughing at times because I know what's going to happen because I've seen the anime so many times. This is still my first time reading of the manga, and it's such a breezy read for me. I just love it. The only other books I find that I really need to pay attention and focus while reading is Yu Yu Hakusho because it's my first time. With this, I know it's going to happen, and with Berserk, it's going to be my second time, I think. But we're on Dragon Ball. And with this, I do find myself really enamored by the art, how it's clean cut. Akari Tonama always knows what he's doing. I really have a great time reading and looking at the art. In here, we're getting he's getting more generous with the energy waves, such with the Kamehamehas. I think we had 3 in this book. That's quite amazing. Probably later on past, I think it's volume 17 we get into Dragon Ball Z, and that's when he gets really generous and abundant with the energy techniques and weaves and so. But in here we get more unorthodox, like hypnosis and his sleepy boy technique they called it, and his drunken. No, did he do drunken boxing in the last volume? I think it was, or the mad cow attack. I think the cutoff point for this book was not as well paced as the others. In here, it just cuts off at in probably like a third inside the book. We're done with Chenmark. I think it should have been wrapped up in the last volume, but hey, nobody's perfect, huh? I think this whole volume is mostly just all Red Ribbon army stuff, and where after the tournament's done, Goku's lost because they had this great kinetic fight. Goku turned into a giant ape Uzaru, and Master Roshi blew up the moon. He blew up the moon, and I'm thinking wouldn't that have great ramifications? Like lunar tide? Doesn't water the sea have connections with lunar tides and positions and stuff like that? Wouldn't that mess up the whole kind of dynamic with Earth and other surrounding planets? Just me, but good news, they wish it back later, so spoiler. If you listen to me ramble on about Dragon Ball, you're probably already a fan and you know what's going on and what's happening. So, yeah. Brothers in blood! Another thing in here, the Red Ribbon stuff, I really do like it. I love the whole concept of Goku fighting against the Red Ribbon Army, of him perilously going against an army with we don't know how big or how much land they do encumber or how they got into power. That's something I would like, the political scenes, but a lot of people don't like politics and all that in their mangas or fantasy and stuff like that. Case in point, the prequels in Star Wars. But hey, that was a build-up for a great galactic war. Anyway, we don't really see any other armies like the king's. Remember the king, King Furry? That was his name. He's like king of the world, president of the world, or something like that. And he's a giant dog. He's like an Irish Terrier. What do you think he would have opposing armies against the Red Ribbon Army because they are kind of like their own sovereign nation or something like that? Anyway, I'm thinking too deep into Dragon Ball. It's meant to be fun and entertaining, not a whole political deep and darkness and meaningful and stuff like that. It doesn't have the deepest colors of Berserk. But there are character development bits like that. I'm just saying that, you don't need a PhD to understand everything in here. And my cat is scratching at the door. Stupid cat. Anyway. Anyway, the Red Ribbon stuff's really fun. I just love the whole concept, Goku fighting a whole army. And I really get that song, Seven Nation Army. I forget what band did that, but you kind of get the idea. Anyway, I like listening music to my manga, don't you? Or books. It helps me focus and zone in and pay attention. It gives a real sense of something. It just adds something, Anything else, I would say here that it already ultimately ends up Goku fighting the Red Ribbon Army. I've said that already. How he gets there is quite hilarious. That he was flying for his Nimbus, looking for his grandfather's Dragon Ball. He took Bulma's Dragon Radar, and off he goes. And while finding the ball, he gets shot down by a rocket launcher, which destroys his flying Nimbus, or Kahensan, or something. I can't really pronounce because it's mostly in the original Japanese. Not the whole book, just some of the original names are in Japanese. Coffee. Any other things I would say to point out here? Goku fights the army. He beats up Colonel Silver, which he's given a more opposing threat in the anime. They give him a whole filler little bit where he beat up all his men. He's like beating up professional boxers because he's so tough. But like in the real fight, that Goku like kicks his ass like that. Like he slaps the face to tail, then he guts punches him, then he's down. Then he reports his failure to Captain Red or Commander Red. And they kill him off screen. I think they kill him off screen. Anyway, then we get to the Muscle Tower arc, which I really do love. This is really kind of a cool kind of. It's really like an action 80s kind of like must go through the dungeon and stuff like that. It's like Beyond the Seventh Door. I kind of like there's these traps and stuff. I just love that type of adventuring where there's booby traps everywhere and stuff. But in here, Goku crash lands into the northern regions where he had a robot pilot and it froze, and they have funny banter. And Goku's knocked out from the crash. He gets saved by a young girl. Cat scratching at the door. He gets saved by a young girl dragged in the snow. He never seen snow before, which is kind of a funny reaction. They give him some clothes, and he goes off the Muscle Tower. And he beats up through waves of foes up until he meets, I think it was General Machaltron, or something like that. Machaltron? And then like he's based off Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he kicks the crap out of him. He knocks his block off. There's a funny line in the anime where he does the Kamehameha, blows off his head. He's like, I knocked his block off, and he's still standing. And he's a android, so that might be, if you know what's going to happen already, that might take it now as a kind of a foreshadowing. Then he fights Ninja Murasaki, which has a great, where he fights a real ninja. Naruto fans. Fights a real ninja. Moving on from that, they have a kind of a funny kinetic battle, and which I think Goku does probably one of the meanest things he's ever done in the whole series and going onward. Ninja Murasaki's underwater, and he has a bamboo pool for his breathing apparatus. You kind of see that and stuff. And cat scratching. Psst. Psst. And I find myself quite enamored that Goku does something quite mean in the book. He grabs boiling water and he pours it down the air apparatus. Opposing from that, that's pretty much all of the book right now. I do find myself quite tickled by the idea that Goku did something so mean. And yeah, that's about it from now. See you at Volume 6.